Hello, my favorite English language learners. It is your favorite English teacher here, Amy Joy, and I am excited today to share a very fun lesson with you. Recently, I asked you under our community tab what kind of video you wanted to see next, and most of you, 38%, requested that I do a video on slang, idioms, and informal expressions. So that is exactly what we are going to do today. In this video, I am going to give you 25 American slang words about love and dating. This is such a fun topic and also super useful in everyday life. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, number 1, to date someone. Now, you probably already know that this means to see someone romantically, but you would be surprised at how often I see my students use this word incorrectly in terms of its grammar and collocations. So as a verb, we say to date someone. And a mistake I often see my students make is to use the preposition with. We do not say to date with someone. So for example, before I got married, I was dating my husband. Not before I got married, I was dating with my husband. Now, we can actually also use the word date as a noun in 2 different ways. So a date can talk about the event of going on a date. So you might say, how'd your date go with the guy from Tinder? In this example, date is a noun to talk about the event. But you can also use the word date to talk about a person. For example, are you going to the holiday party with a date or alone? Or another example, when I used to live in New York City, and I went on some terrible dates. One time, my date spilled his drink on me and then made me pay for the drink. So even though you might know the meaning of the word to date, there are a lot of different ways to use this word, and I often see my students use it incorrectly. Okay, and word number 2, significant other. This is such a great collocation just to talk about someone that you are in a romantic relationship with. This can be a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, or a wife, or even a fiance, or someone who you're engaged to. I really like this word because it can be a cover for any romantic relationship that you're in. Now, a funny mistake that I see my students use is using the word lover to talk about someone that they're in a romantic relationship with. However, a lover is actually someone who you are having a romantic relationship with outside of your significant other. So it's really important not to use this word. So if you are just getting to know someone for the first time, you would not ask them, do you have a lover? You might ask them instead, do you have a significant other? This means, do they have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a husband, a wife, or a fiance? Okay, and number 3, to be single. This means that you do not have a significant other. And word number 4, to be taken. This means that you do have a significant other. So if you are at a bar and you see a pretty girl, you might go up to them and say, are you single or are you taken? Now, if that pretty girl is single, you might want to ask her out on a date. To ask someone out is word number 5, and this is a great phrasal verb that simply means to ask someone to go on a date with you. To use it in a sentence, we can say, traditionally, the man used to ask the woman out, but nowadays it doesn't really matter. And also, a fun fact for you all, when I met my husband, I actually asked him out, and I'm so glad that I did. Okay, and before moving on to our next slang vocabulary word, if you have found any of these words helpful so far, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you never miss out when I post a new video. Thanks! Okay, and word number 6, to flirt with someone. To flirt with someone means to show that you are romantically interested in them. You might do this by making a lot of eye contact, maybe touching their arm, or sending them cute heart eye emojis, etc. This is flirting, and also notice the preposition with. So we don't say to date with someone, but we do say to flirt with someone. English is confusing and these prepositions are crazy, but it is really important that you use the right preposition with the words. Now, similar to number 6, we have number 7, and that is to hit on someone. Now, this might sound kind of bad or violent because you see the word hit, but it does not mean to hit. Rather, it means to flirt with someone. So one common way of hitting on someone is to buy them a drink. And another common way to hit on someone is to simply compliment them. So again, you're at a bar and you see a pretty girl and you say, "Oh, your eyes are so beautiful." She might say, "Are you hitting on me?" And to hit on someone is a phrasal verb, and in fact, it's an inseparable phrasal verb, which means that you cannot put the object in the middle of the verb and the preposition. For example, you cannot say, "The guy at the bar hit me on." You have to say, "The guy at the bar hit on me." And moving on to number 8, to be into someone. To be into someone means to like someone romantically. So I might ask my friend, "How'd your date go with the guy from Tinder?" And she would say, "It went so well. I'm so into him. I'm going to ask him out on a second date." And speaking of Tinder, we have word number 9, to swipe right. This is a newer slang word that we use to talk about online dating. And this originally came from the use of Tinder, where you swipe right if you like someone and you swipe left if you don't like someone. So in an example, you might say, "Oh my God, I just saw my ex on Tinder." And your friend says, "Did you swipe right?" And you would say, "Of course not. They're the worst." Now, if you do swipe right because you like them and they swipe right because they like you, then you can say, "We matched." We matched means that you both liked each other on the app and you both swiped right. So in a sentence, you can say, "I just matched with this really cute guy on Tinder." Notice these prepositions, you can match with someone on the platform that you're using. So you can say, "I matched with this cute guy on Tinder, on Bumble, etc." Now, let's say that you are on Tinder, you swipe right on someone, you match with them, and the person asks you out. You make plans to go to dinner, and you show up at the restaurant. But your date doesn't come. They stood you up. To stand someone up is word number 11, and it means to not come to an event or an activity or a date that you said you would go to. It is extremely rude to stand someone up, so I don't think you should ever do this, but it does happen. And one thing I want you to notice about this word is we also use it in the passive voice. So if you are in this situation, you could say, "I can't believe I got stood up." We have get with the past participle. "I'm so mad I got stood up," or "I'm so mad he stood me up." Now, let's think a little bit more positively. You are on Tinder, you both swipe right, you match with someone, they ask you out on a date, they meet you at the restaurant, and you have the best time with them. At the end of your date walks you to your car, and they kiss you, and you start to make out with them. To make out with someone is word number 12, and it means to kiss someone with your tongue. We also call this a French kiss, but the more common verb is to say to make out. So if someone asks you, "Oh, how did your Tinder date go last night?" You can say, "It went so well, I'm really into them, and we actually made out afterwards." Now, if you decide to go home with that person and you are making out with them and maybe doing some more stuff with them, you can say, "We hooked up." Now, this is word number 13, to hook up with someone. And this means to do physical, sexual things, and it's very casual. And oftentimes we see this verb in the past tense because we are telling stories about our dating life. So again, you might ask your friend, "How did your Tinder date go last night?" And you say, "It went really good. We actually hooked up." Or, "It went really good. I hooked up with him." Okay, and word number 14 is the word babe. We use this word all the time, and it has two meanings. You might say something like, "Oh, she's a total babe," and that means that she is really attractive. Or, "He's a total babe. He is really attractive." But more commonly, I would say we use this as like a pet name between two significant others. For example, I call my husband babe all the time. So if he calls me, I'll answer the phone and I'll say, "Hey babe, what's up?" Or more often, I'm in my house and I always yell, "Babe, babe, can you come here and kill this spider for me? Something like that. Oh, okay, so I've just given you 14 slang words about dating. Now I'm gonna give you some more slang, but focused on marriage. So after you go through all the dating apps, you match with someone on Tinder, you go on a date, you're really into them, you start making out, maybe you even hook up with them. Then you become boyfriend, girlfriend, and things are getting pretty serious. Now we need some vocabulary to talk about marriage. So, word number 15 is actually an idiom, and it is to pop the question. The question is obviously, will you marry me? So, to pop the question means to ask someone to marry you. And similarly, number 16, to get down on one knee, also means to propose. And number 17, to get engaged. This means to commit to each other that you will get married in the near future. So to put all three of these phrases together, I can say, my husband and I got engaged on Christmas. He got down on one knee and popped the question in front of my whole family. It was so sweet, and I'm so happy he did. Now, after someone pops the question and you get engaged, then you get hitched. And this is just a slang or informal way to say to get married. So if you are engaged and you are getting married in the summer, you can say, we are getting hitched this summer. Now, to be honest with you, I think this is a little bit of like older slang. I don't really hear a lot of my friends using it or younger people using it, but I have read it a lot in like news articles and in literature. So even if you don't use it, it is good to know what it means. And moving on to word number 19, this is actually a little texting acronym. ILY just means I love you. And we use this all the time in texting and written communication, so I thought I would share it with you. Okay, so far we've talked about dating and marriage, but now we have to learn some vocabulary to talk about ending relationships. So word number 20 is a new one and very, very useful word because it happens all the time, and it is to ghost someone. To ghost someone means that two people are talking to each other, maybe on Tinder, or they've gone on several dates, and all of a sudden, one person just stops responding. They stop texting you back, they stop answering phone calls, they just disappear like a ghost. So to use this in an example, I might ask my friend, are you still talking to Joe from Tinder? And she might say, well, I was, but then he totally ghosted me. So again, we use this often in the past tense because we're reporting events about our dates that happened in the past. So we would say, he ghosted me. Now, another bad thing to do in a relationship is number 21, and that is to cheat on someone. To cheat on someone means to have a romantic relationship with someone other than your significant other. And word number 22 is to break up with someone. To break up with someone means to end a relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And similarly, number 23 is to dump someone. And this means to break up with someone. So let's put all three of these in a little dialogue. I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me with his coworker. And your friend says, did you break up with him? And you can say, of course I dumped him. Okay, and number 24, to get a divorce or to get divorced. This means to legally end a marriage. So it's really just a more serious term for breaking up. And notice here, we often use the passive voice with this phrase, to get divorced. We have get plus the past participle. For example, my parents got divorced when I was 12. Got divorced. This is not true, but it's just an example. Now, if you have ever broken up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend or gotten divorced from your husband or your wife, then you can say, number 25, you have an ex. An ex is just short for your ex-boyfriend, your ex-girlfriend, your ex-husband, your ex-wife, and we use it as a noun to refer to a person. For example, my ex cheated on me. This is not true, but it's just an example. All right, well, there you have it. 25 American slang words to talk about love and dating. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel so you can keep improving your English with me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new, and I will see you next time. Bye.